It is popularly believed that the woman that Jesus encountered at the well was an immoral woman. The text says, in that conversation with Jesus, you have answered correctly. You have had 5 husbands, and the man that you are now living with is not your husband. She says, I perceive that you're a prophet. And the conversation continues. Have you ever wondered why different ones have come to conclude that this woman was immoral? Have you ever wondered why persons have drawn the conclusion or made the assumption that somehow she must have been a woman of ill repute? Well, she was married 5 times if we take the text literally. And being married 5 times is no less scandalous as Hosea marrying a prostitute, it would seem to me, or no less scandalous than David marrying 7 or 8 times, depending on how you read the text. So that she was married 5 times would not be the thing that would cause or should cause anyone to think of her as immoral, as of ill repute. Furthermore, it would not that she would be the one to divorce anyone, because it seems that the culture of the day didn't allow that. It probably then would be that each of those 5 men married her. Each of those 5 men discarded her. Each of those 5 men treated her as perhaps somehow worthless or not worth their time, not worth their effort to build a relationship with. Each of those men caused her to feel some pain. Could it be that any of these 5 men loved her for who she was and valued her for who she was and treated her with significance and worth as each one should have? Did any do that? But here she is, married 5 times, and now living with a man who was not her husband. And it is easy for different perspectives to be raised on who she was living with, and it's difficult. But let us assume that the person that she was living with was not her husband, and it was, for want of a better term, an illegitimate relationship. How do we treat with her? How do we understand her story? Do we stop long enough to listen to her, to hear what she's saying, to hear her heart, to understand why she would come to the well when no one else was there? Was she in pain? Was she in anguish of soul? Were there things in her that weighed her down, that made her feel ashamed and guilty and unwanted? How do we treat persons around us who perhaps may not suit our story, who may not measure up the way that we think things should measure up? How easily do we cast aspersions when we really don't know the full story of someone? Well, Jesus decided to go her way, to listen to her story, and to bring change in that picture for her.